Alright, we're starting today's video in creative mode because I gotta catch you guys up on a couple of the things that I did in stream the other day that I wasn't really going to put into a video because I wasn't recording at the time, but it's kind of necessary to catch you guys up. So this world is actually titled Villager Trading Center for Minerva, and if you clicked on this video, then you're not going to be disappointed. We're going to be talking about villagers today. What I did was I spent a few hours, a good few hours actually, in creative designing a villager trading hall. So the breeder is pretty self-explanatory. I can hop in there right now. There is a problem with it that I do need to fix, but ultimately the breeder works. Babies pop out, it functions all the same. It's the same world that we know. But the babies here, this is something I'm kind of testing, but it's not really that good because the babies don't build up in one spot like they should. Basically what I need to do is separate babies from adults, and I haven't researched into anybody's possible solutions for this because the old design doesn't exactly work when it's just a blade of water that can't swim up high enough. So that's something I need to mess with, but that's not what I'm going to do on camera. What I want to show you guys is the trading hall that I came up with. I already made a tutorial on this. This is why I posted that on my channel already, link below. But effectively, all of the output, all the adults from the breeder will come into here. Minecart will pick them up, and then if you got one you want to keep, you can drop them down, bring them wherever you want. This will be going back and forth to drop off the villagers when they're back, and then you can kill them when you don't want their trades. It does everything. It does everything a trading hall slash sorter should do. I call it a trading hall because if you wanted to just leave them here, you could. But basically we would transport them elsewhere to this sort of trading hall design. And yeah, so that works really, really well. And that's what I was doing in creative. Hopping over to survival mode, we did this off camera. I don't think I showed this in a video yet. It's not really much to show. I mean, it looks like we did a lot, but I mean, seriously, Sig and I planted some trees and then I put up some walls, and this is sort of the rough outline for the base that I want to make, but we have these signs. So this is from Pineapple. At the minute I can't sell money on stream, so here's some diamonds. This one is a thank you for letting me play on Minerva, and just because you're an awesome streamer person, so thank you for Pineapple. P.S. I got KFC and didn't forget that my keys were in my pocket. P.S. I'm very drunk at the minute I get used. He drunk texted me on Discord that he had KFC and it was freezing outside and he had locked himself out. And this went on for a good hour or so before he eventually discovered that the keys were in his pocket the entire time. But he gave me 30 diamonds. I appreciate that because I want to say I don't have time to mine. I do. I don't know. I've been splitting up my channel, and I spent some time on Fortnite the last few days, which is why the breeder went up. What do you call it? Not the breeder. The tutorial for the sorter went up, and then I didn't actually end up making a Minerva log. But I want to head over to the end to show you guys what sort of progress we made over there. And thanks to Blue Ice, I don't actually know if this is the right way to do it, but somebody told me we could space it out and it'd be just as fast. So I did it every third one with packed ice. And here's what we got going on. So I got a little bit of a happy sad going on with this, but I set it up. I barely started building the sorter, which I wanted to put on video. That's done now. I'll explain why in a second. And then the breeder was built, which is sort of a half point, and then all of this was started without me, which is why I'm kind of in a bad mood. I specifically wrote the sign, don't mess with this until Beast gets back on. I put that there, and I explained it to people to leave this area alone because I wanted to put it in a video. And, well, they finished the sorter, which is fine. I mean, I was going to do it anyway, but it's not that big of a deal. I can look past that. They started all the crop farms, which really annoyed me because I really didn't want that to be started or built yet. And then the breeder, which I don't know, I specifically told Jacob to build it higher, not out, but I don't know. It's again fine, I guess. I get annoyed in general when I made it very, very clear and then people were just like, ah, never mind, we're gonna do it anyway. And that's annoying. I mean, that's just disrespectful, honestly. But looking past that, what we need to do is, first and foremost, the crop farms are nerve-wracking because it's my understanding, if Unary Bits test world that he provided a download for does not mislead me, these crop farms need to be 16 blocks apart. This is my understanding. If I'm not mistaken, when a villager comes over to the edge and they see crops over here, they'll just walk up to the wall and stare at them. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm mistaken. I'm sure somebody in the comments is telling me right now, but If that's the case, then every single one of these is built way too close. And I sort of felt bad telling them this, but at the same time I didn't, because as I said, I specifically told them to not mess with this area until I'm back. And even more on that, they started trading with villagers and pulling out the good ones, because I don't even have a trading hall in yet. But what we're going to focus on right now is fixing this problem. Effectively, what I need to do is set it up so that the babies sit in one spot and the adults can go over. I thought this would work. As you can see, it's working there, but it's been made clear to me that some of the babies can get pushed up and into the water, and some of them get stuck in the mix and they don't get filtered out. So as you're trading, you might get a baby in here, which is really, really bad. So yeah, I'll be working on that, and then I'll record once I have a solution, or if something interesting happens. I don't know. Aha! We have a working theory on GeneMBin's video tutorial world, because I figured if he built villagers recently, he might have come up with a better solution than I did. Surprisingly enough, he had the same idea I did, which is to just have them in a typical sorter like this, where like I double wide this, but he had a 1x1 or a 2x1 where the villagers just sort of stand in this little section and then they swim up when they're ready. I expanded this out because I spammed a whole bunch of villagers in there, because with the size of breeder that we're looking to run, we can expect at least 60 baby villagers on deck at any given time. So what I wanted to do is make sure that if there were, you know, more than that, like right now there's 20, so what we should be doing is doing something like this and having a whole bunch of babies on deck. And you can see that the adults tend to like squish their way in there a lot easier, maybe because their hitbox is bigger or whatever. And it appears as though we got 48 babies in there. I'm going to keep on... I think this is an okay spot to do this. Yeah. So the babies should back up a little bit, but when an adult grows, as long as these babies don't jump, which they should never do, it seems okay. I'm not 100% sure if an adult will bring a baby up with it, because I know that from watching, the babies can work their way up this elevator. For the most part, it's tricky for them. But an adult should be able to get up through there. So if I spawn a few more back here, I spawn them back here for two reasons. One, because it's the only way that I can really spawn them. And two, because if a baby grows in the back, I need to be able to make sure that that adult will get in. And one other thing he did was he pushed the water to the side so that it creates sort of a sloped effect. And it has appeared as though that like over time, the adult always tends to work his way in. Of course, I haven't tested it with this many villagers in there. There's about 71. This is like a worst case scenario. And also, I don't want to guess too much because, I mean, you never know with these kind of things that run automatically like this. But theoretically speaking, this circumstance should never happen. Because if you think about the way that the villagers are going to breed and then get popped out in here, these should be your oldest villagers and these should be your youngest villagers. So theoretically speaking, one should never grow back here until one of these has grown up and moved out of the way. So this might be a bad test, but because I frankly have nothing better to work with, I think I might just go with it. And there's also another thing about this that I like, and I explained how I made this a 2x2 instead of a 2x1. Theoretically speaking, if I wanted to expand this like one block further out because we would hit this water, I could make this a 3x2 elevator of water and then just give them 6 blocks for all the babies to stand in. And as far as I can tell, that would work completely fine. I don't think it'd be that bad. So, you know, it's a work in progress. So I think this is worth building in survival, at least see how it runs. And as I mentioned, if I need to, I can expand it out. So yeah, I'm liking this. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I was hoping that because I've been in this world for long enough, I was hoping that one of these babies would grow up while I was talking, but I don't know. It seems like a watched baby never grows. So yeah, I think this is my solution. I'll hook it up to our breeder and see how it works. Alright, now the fun part, to do it in survival. And I wanted to show this right before I started because I had a realization right as I finished. But because our output is being constricted to a 1x1, it appears as though naturally this is like a 5 wide deal. So I might just go way overboard and make it like 5x2, giving the babies tons of space to grow up and not get in each other's way. And then like at the top here, then I'll constrict it to like a 1 wide, because we aren't going to get that many adults, but we are going to get a lot of babies in there all at once. So this might be easier than I thought. Unfortunately, and you hate to see it, because like these are survival villagers. They're so valuable, but most of these are gonna have to go. So I'm gonna do that part off camera, but it's gotta happen. You can finally place these floating. The entirety of the time that I've ever been playing my... That's exactly what's supposed to not happen. Anyway, the entirety of the time that I've been playing this game... Oh my god, I'm so glad that you don't have to put a block below these anymore. I thought water counted for a second. Okay, if this baby swims up, then we're gonna have a big issue. Alright, yeah, it's totally fine. You're just gonna... you know what it is? Yeah, I think it's because we put,
yeah, they're not going down far enough. They're staying in that water source.
Yeah, instead of like a block, we put fences. So I think this needs to be a hard block so that they don't go up. Alright, we'll try that and get back to work.
And then maybe under,
Round 2.
And they're not bobbing up.
Perfect. Yeah, super conveniently, when I broke out these fences, they got pushed back, so we were able to actually just try it again. Alright, I'm gonna hop into Spectator here. Because Sig and I have... Okay, mostly Sig mostly just helped me place blocks below, but... yeah, we're just hanging out together. It's not a big deal. But it seems to be working fine. So, it's funny, in the clip before this, I was like, you know, a 2x2 will work. We might be doing a 2x3 if I'm crazy. And here we are with a 2x5. But this should just allow for plenty of space for the babies to... just group up. That shouldn't cause any trouble at all. They're getting in there just fine. And we're just gonna watch this on stream for a while and then work in this area, and if any grow, you guys will definitely see. We left the babies in here as well, because as I mentioned earlier with the order of operations, these babies are older than these ones, so theoretically speaking, they should grow faster, or they should grow before any of these guys grow up and push them along. But yeah, it actually looks pretty clean, and this thing is honestly, this breeder is so fast. I asked Jacob to build this off, like, while I was gone, and, oh, that's a problem. I'll get into it. Well, maybe not. Because apparently farmers pick up food differently and slow down the breeder. Those might have been Fletcher's, I don't really care. Whatever. Clearly, as I was just saying, it's plenty fast. Like, one basic module of this breeder, and it's always been arbitrary. I did it just because it was in my tutorial, and even the guys who built this design on Hermitcraft did it, but, like, the bog standard has been, like, 16 groups, 16 longs, yeah, so 16 groups of villagers, but we have 32 groups, so he put in 64 villagers plus the villager that makes the village, which should, on average, create about 192 babies an hour, which is why we're seeing... quite literally, because it's the average 2 to 4 babies per minute. Yeah, I think that, yeah, that works out. So, like, it should be about 3 or more babies a minute, which is a lot, Oddly enough, when you're trading, you go through a lot more than 2 to 3 babies a minute. So, yeah, it's fast, but it's not too fast. You know what I mean? And it's easy to expand. So, yeah, we'll just watch this and see how it works. So, we got insanely lucky. It only occurred to me now because I was thinking about where to put the trading hall, which I'll talk about in a second. But one thing I forgot to even think about when I started building this sorter is the orientation. Very, very fortunately, it's north-south with the villagers facing the west, which is exactly where we need it. So, yeah, I kind of dodged a bullet on that one. There's sort of a 1 in 4 chance that I built it right the first time on accident, but we did, so good for us. It's not a total accident because I went the same direction out from the spawn portal that I always do. Like, the end island is this way, and we went to the right. So I kind of, you know, that's what I've always done, and it seems to have stayed consistent, but... one thing I wanted to talk about was the trading hall. So it occurs to me that, like, by default I was just going to put it up and where we are normally standing and then bring the villagers up from down here, but I thought it'd be fun to give this room a little bit of depth and the chance for a nice staircase if we put the villagers down here and just, I don't know, made us go up and down from the trading hall instead. And that would mean from over here we would just collect the villagers to a single point and then put them into the trading hall like normal. And then from above, we can staircase our way in or whatever. And I thought that'd be kind of cool. So we're probably going to do that. It would appear as though they are moving very, very slowly because the server is lagging a lot right now. And yeah, so the cool part is we are at that point where because these babies have started growing, they should be growing up at roughly the same rate that they were being spawned in. And it seems like we've capped out at about what I expected. About 50 to 60 villagers, 58 in there right now, with more coming in. But as far as I can tell, only adults have made it through here. All of the babies that were in the chute grew up like I thought they would, and now they're just sort of collecting down here. And I say that the server's lagging, but I mean, we've got 280 entities in here, so I guess I'm not entirely surprised. I wanted to wait for one of these to grow, so I might just sit and wait.
You're gonna try out some other versions here.
So it's been about an hour and a half. I've been sitting here for... Okay, hold on. I gotta pause my movie real quick. Alright. And 2 of them have finally grown. So that's kind of what I hoped for. They're not interrupting the babies. They're just popping up and pushing them to the side. Alright. This is actually a fairly lagless solution. I say that relatively because obviously any amount of villagers is bad, but as long as they're just standing still, not moving at all, which means they shouldn't be colliding too much, hopefully. I imagine because it's Minecraft, if they're touching hitboxes, then they're probably colliding over and over, but, you know, I suspect they're probably fine. But, yeah, they're growing along just like I thought they would. And we're gonna have to start cutting down on the entity count here because, this is too many. And I'm wondering where all of them are, honestly. I've only got 30 here, about 100 with the breeder total. And then another 180 where? We found the entities.
To babysit Jaffe's redstone. I'm back now. Oh.
Wait, so you... I like that, like, that sounds like different things. You did redstone that one day you drank 13 Red Bull?
Yeah, it was in your, Minerva, Season 2 final. I was on an island. I might have been with games, and I was doing redstone.
Can we take away the torch?
Yeah,
I just wanted to put this in the video because this was the first time Jaffe ever... Well, the first time I've ever seen Jaffe do redstone. Sig just sorted our first villager. It's a Silk Touch for 10. So I figured I would take this little accomplishment of ours to use it as an excuse to give you guys a little update as to what's going on. Let me finish putting these rails into place, and then you guys can get a little bit more of an explanation. So what we've got here are 32 block long strips, double-sided here. These are the best we've got villagers for librarians, and then the perfect ones will go on my right. And then over here we've got blacksmiths and farmers slash clerics at the end. And that's kind of what we're going with. It's pretty similar to what we had before. Don't even get me started on how long it took me to get these rails in place like this, but I wanted them to come out the center. And if Sig is interested, I think we have only got the librarians done yet, but the farmers will be soon to sort. We're starting with the librarians for 2 reasons. First and foremost, it's why we're here. Librarians, if done perfectly, 100% replace the necessity of an enchanting table. We specifically construct the tools and armor that we want based on the trades that we have. Sig's currently going down the wrong side here because farmers can't go here.
That guy just got a mind of his own.
Mind of his own. I think we need a lever for this. So this is what the idea is. Basically, whenever you've got a brand new villager, you just flip it to whatever side you want, and then personally, people need to manually set up the rails to go wherever they need to go. And it's actually a pretty good system, and I like it a lot. So, yeah, it's going along pretty well. I'm happy with the way this is looking. This is really, really nice. I'm just stoked to be sorting our first villager. And as I mentioned, we're starting with this because the librarians are the ones that need the most organization. So not only is it why we're here, but like Silk Touch has a home, Unbreaking has a home, Mending has a home. Farmers and blacksmiths, I mean, we can just put them in one right after another as we get them. Like, it's not that important. Like, we'll just put like perfect farmers in right away, and then, you know, follow them up with the next best farmer we've got, and just kind of go down the line. Like right here we have an infinity book, so I'll put him somewhere in here, and that should work out pretty well. But I'm gonna get back to working on this thing, and oh, also Jaffe did redstone. All right, here it is. It's all done, sort of. Nothing's ever done, but I'm calling it because I don't really know where else to go, and I think we're at a good spot. I've gotten Tone Formula, builder on our server. He's not online right now, to help us with this area. He's got a creative single player, Jaffe's in a boat, helping us get an aesthetic for this, and that'll hopefully turn out a lot better. But until I sort of have that to work with and I have like a proper idea for like where I want everything to go specifically, I think I'm just gonna leave this. I'll come back here later and then trade a little more. Unfortunately, we need a lot of coal and iron to get through a lot of these black coats, which we don't have. We can sort the librarians, and that's completely fine, but unfortunately we just can't afford a lot of the villagers that are coming in right now. So I think it might be good to break here, and I also don't really know where to go from here other than that. So yeah, I think that's a good stopping point. And also we got the breeder in place. They started shifting over the crop farms over here. So yeah, I think it's just a good place to stop. I'm gonna probably cut it here. As for the stream, I'm gonna continue working on my base, and I'm teasing this in the video because I'm mostly working on that on stream right now. I'm not gonna make like a full episode on it because it's gonna be an ongoing thing, and I'm never gonna make enough progress to like really put it in a video. So I'll just tease it every episode from here on out, and then you guys will get little snippets of where that goes. So yeah, hopefully in the next video we've done something more on this, and see you guys later. Hi, Jaffe.